Look closely. Perhaps this will help. Was done before. Yuri now. But they're not all servants the same. How many times you go to restaurant, you realize you don't know which waiter was serving you. It is no different in Russia. We are like part of a machine. We can be replaced at any time. And yet it is said we cannot be trusted. I can be dismissed for any reason, or no reason, but my master expects me to be loyal at all costs. And indeed, most of us are loyal. I have known servants to sacrifice very life to protect master. Take old Tasha. She cared more for Katerina than she does anybody else in the world. If she could take away little girl fever at cost of own life, I have no doubt she'd do it. We have given up our families, our lives, our loves, to serve those who could at any hour send us away with wave of hand. But we trust in their affections. We have sacrificed so much and served so long. We make masters in our minds that are worthy of our love. This way, Mr. Howard. The Count and Countess wish they might receive you, but Count was called away on business and Countess is herself ill.
I've sent Tom down to the States to look after the horses. Will you see that he gets something to eat?
Of course, Mr. Howard. And what will you have?
Oh, nothing for me, thank you. I had some gruel this morning before I left. Is this the patient?
Da. Her parents away from home, we are beside self with worry. I don't think her nurse Tasha has slept since she became ill last Tuesday. It seems every day she grows worse. Someone tell us you helped many people in prison visit. We cannot thank you enough for coming.
I must tell you, I am not a doctor. I'll do what I can for her, but she is really in God's hands.
In God's hands she is. It's just that we have done all that we can do. You are last hope. I am glad he's not a doctor. There is no one killed you quicker than doctor. First they poison you with their medicines, then they bleed you to death. Doctor get paid to do things most of us be locked away for. I pray Mr. Howard will be comfort to her.
Katerina? Katerina?
It's you. They told me they had sent for you, but I never expected you to come. Everyone says you are a great, great man.
Oh, no more of that. Let's see what's wrong with you. Move on to your side for me, please. Now breathe for me. Again. And once more.
You can rest now.
What is it, Mr. Howard?
She has severe rheumatic fever, pleurisy. I suppose the proper treatment for the fever would do some bloodletting, but I've no skill for that. I do have some of Dr. James' powders. That might help her with her fever. And the poultice might help her with her breathing. Have the maid make up a poultice using these ingredients and bring us some tea as quickly as possible.
Mr. Howard,
What is it, my dear?
sit and talk with me, Mr. Howard.
Oh, but you must rest now.
I'll rest soon enough. And no one ever talks to me. They'll whisper behind my back. Am I going to die, Mr. Howard? I know I am supposed to want to go to heaven, but do you think God would mind if I just stayed around a little while longer? You see, it's almost time for St. Tatiana's Day. It's a holiday for us here in the Ukraine. We have feasts and dancing. I have a new dress. It has With long white sleeves and a bright blue gown. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Do you think I will ever get to wear it? I suppose it is wrong to think so much about a new dress on a saint's day, but Saint Tatiana died because she would not worship the idol of the emperor. She must have been very brave. I am not so brave. I don't want to die.
What is this rubbish about you dying? What has he said to you?
I've hardly said anything at all.
That's the problem with you English. You don't say nothing. And doctor, she thinks she is going to get better. Anybody cannot say anything. I am sure you have a Katarina very to guess. Why don't you say something?
Might we have that tea now?
Of course. English and your blessed tea. Having tea doesn't solve everything, you know.
It might help with the administration of these powers.
I brought your favorite cup, Katarina, the one with the little oars. And pay no attention to the Englishman when he doesn't say anything. Not saying anything doesn't mean what you think it does. Tomorrow you will be quite well. Tomorrow you will be running around these halls and all of this will seem like a bad dream. And when you are better, it won't be because of anything he has done.
Do you take sugar in your tea?
Yes, 3 spoons, please.
2 will be quite enough.
I wish we had strawberries. We had the most wonderful strawberries in the summer. I would give anything for a bowl of strawberries with cream. So, tell me, Mr. Howard, I know you've traveled all over the world. What was the most exciting thing that ever happened to you?
Well, let me see. I have had more than my share of adventures. I was on a ship once that was attacked by pirates.
Pirates? You must tell me all about it.
Well, I left from the port of Modin in Greece. There's an old castle there that rises up from the ocean like one of the ancient wonders of the world. I used to walk along the castle wall late at night and listen to the surf breaking against the rocks down below and smell the sea and, oh, the spices from the market and the orange blossoms on the trees. The castle was built many years ago by the Venetians, but it's in the hands of the Turks now. 5 times a day you can hear the call for prayer come out from the ancient mosque. Sometimes you can hear the desperate cries of the men who are held there in the dungeon of the castle. I felt very, very far away from home and longed to see my own country. So, it was with joy in my heart that I stepped aboard a ship the next day that would bring me closer to home.
It sounds very lonely. Does no one ever go on these journeys with you?
I prefer to go by myself. I don't mind putting my own life at risk for these errands of mercy, but why should I risk someone else's?
I shouldn't like to be alone in a faraway country.
Well, I'm not all alone. I think that God is with me. For he had said, he will never leave thee nor forsake thee. I really do feel that God is by my side. Like when you know that someone is walking behind you, even though you can't quite hear them or see them.
Yes. But what about the pirates?
Oh. Well, I set sail on the Fortuna, an old merchant ship whose best days had long since passed. We were little prepared for military action, and the waters off the coast of Africa are just swarming with pirate ships. Just past midday, a cry came out from the crow's nest. I had a spyglass with me, and in the distance I could just make out the sails of a Tunisian corsair.
Corsair?
A pirate from the Barbary coast. Small, ruthless, savage men. All afternoon we could see them coming closer to us. We were afraid that they were going to try to board us. Our captains raised every sail on the ship, but we were no match for their corsair. He said that he would send our ship to the bottom of the sea before he would see it taken by the Turks. We'd all been sold as slaves if we'd been captured.
You must have been terribly frightened.
Oh, indeed we were. We had a few old cannons, but little hope of doing enough damage to the ship to actually break off an attack. Our only hope was that they wanted to capture our ship instead of destroy it. So, we loaded our old cannons with scrap shot. I say we because several of the crew had fallen ill and I was pressed into service. We waited until we could just see the faces of the pirates as they came closer and closer, and then we fired right into their midship, bringing down a hail of nails and spikes and small shot. To our amazement, the pirates withdrew, and we were able to bring our ship safely to port.
It must have been glorious.
Oh, no, I wouldn't call it glorious. The recollection of the whole experience brings me no joy. Oh, and I saw things that day that I would like to erase from my mind. But we did what we had to do in order to save our lives. I've come close to death on more than one occasion in my life. It gives you a clarity about your existence, how you live, and what you live for.
Are you married, Mr. Howard?
I was. She died many years ago.
Did you love her madly?
What an odd question. I did love her. I don't think I loved her as much as I should have. One has regrets. I feel responsible for her death.
How did she die?
Giving birth to our son. It was a difficult pregnancy, but she seemed to be regaining her strength. A few days later, she fell ill. On Sunday, I went to church. Because she didn't seem to be in any immediate danger. When I got home, I brought a cup of chocolate up to her room. She was already gone. Nothing prepares you for that moment. You're so used to hearing the greetings of her voice and the sound of her laughter. And then, all the stillness. You know you will never hear that voice again.
It must have been hard for your son. As he grew older, did he blame himself?
I don't know. Perhaps. We never talked about it. Indeed, I have never talked with anyone about this, Katerina. You have a way of teasing out my secrets.
Don't worry. Your secrets are safe with me. Cross my heart. I will take them with me to my grave.
Oh, what would Tasha say if she could hear you now?
You needn't wonder what Tasha would say. You might simply ask me. But of course, no one will. Who would care what Tasha thinks? It was I who nursed her as baby in my arms. I was the one who picked her up when she scraped her knees and dried the tears. I sang to her the long, lonely nights when you could hear the wind howling to the trees and rapping the shutters on the windows. No one has the right to take her away from me, Mr. Howard.
Really, Dasha? Don't be cross with Mr. Howard.
Oh,
See how much better I am since he arrived?
oh, da.
You must go away now.
Oh,
I am learning all of Mr. Howard's secrets.
Has the poultice been prepared?
da. It's almost ready.
Roll it up in a cloth like a sausage and tie the ends tightly.
Tea and sausages. God save us from the English physician.
You were telling me about your son. Where is he now?
I lost him many years ago. He went off to school and something terrible happened. Bring down the rosy, pockets full of posy. Ah.
Yes, it's me, Father. Do you recognize me? We all fall down. I was in Edinburgh, you know. I was a good boy. But I was sent down. Malay and Mente. I try to think now, but the thoughts just slip away. I hardly know who I am. Thomason left me, you know. Left me in the snow outside the King's Arms. Well, good riddance! I don't mind him. But I've lost myself, and that's a loss from which I won't soon recover.
My dear son, I know.
I need to sleep, Father. But I'm too afraid to. The spiders, they come down one by one, and soon it's all spiders. I look down, but I can't see myself for all of the spiders. My skin crawls with them.
Sleep here, son. Sleep here.
Oh, dear God in heaven, what have I done? Lost him forever.
Did your son die, Mr. Howard?
Yes, Katerina. My son no longer lives. I'm sorry, I can't talk about it.
I know you must miss him. Do you believe in angels, Mr. Howard?
I do.
Do angels have wings?
I suppose so. Why do you ask?
There is a painting in our church. All of the angels around God in heaven. They all look very happy. Well, not exactly happy. They look as though they could never be unhappy. They look sublime. I love that painting. Sometimes when I feel very bad, I try to picture it in my mind. Try to see myself as that angel.
You already are.
And when I was very little, I used to dream I had a horse with wings. We would fly through the clouds together. I didn't need a bridle or stirrups. I just held on to its mane and I never had to kick it, for it knew where I wanted to go before I did.
You have a remarkable imagination. I think it's a gift from God. He tells us that we must come to him as children. I think as we grow older, we lose our sense of wonder, and heaven becomes a faraway, dimly remembered land for us. But for the young, it's so much clearer.
I have brought your poultice. all the way here to mention what good it will do. It is the most evil-smelling thing.
Put a pillow behind her head. Katerina, you must sit quite still and allow the poultice to do its work. You may take away the tea things now. Tasha loves you very much.
I know.
It's no small thing to have someone who loves you that much. I visited men in prison who said that they never had anyone come visit them while they were there.
Miguel told me you had visited prisons all over the world. Why would you do such a thing?
Well, at first, it was because I wanted to change the laws that kept innocent men in prison. And then I wanted to improve the conditions for those who had to live there. But most of all, I just want those in prison to know that God has not forgotten them.
What is it like in prison? Is it desperately sad?
No prison is a happy place, Katerina. Prisons remind us of the sickness of the human soul, like a canker sore on the skin. And because we don't want to be reminded of that condition, we do everything we can to hide our prisoners from sight. Many of our prisons are underground, where the prisoners can be neither seen nor heard.
What horrid places.
Yes, indeed, Katerina. Dark, horrible places.
I feel like I'm in prison in this bed.
Well, even in prison we can learn something. I have been studying how I may compare this prison where I live unto the world.
What's that?
It's a line from Shakespeare's King Richard II. He was being held in the dungeon before his execution.
Richard. Was he the one they called a lion-hearted?
No, I think it was more the mouse-hearted.
Tell me, why was the king in prison?
I really don't know. I think he'd made some very powerful enemies.
And what did he learn in prison?
To make the most of time. I have wasted time, and now doth time waste me. I think he had a lot of regrets.
And what do you regret, Mr. Howard?
I regret not having a daughter like you. I regret not spending more time with my friends. I've never felt as though I really fit in with other people.
I regret not meeting you sooner.
Well, then we must make the most of our time together.
And I must learn more of your secrets. Tell me, what is your favorite place on earth?
I think it's a little hillside outside my home in Cardington. What's your favorite place?
There's a park near the little village of Dauphiné. I can't imagine you have trouble fitting in with other people, Mr. Howard. I feel perfectly comfortable with you. Tell me another story.
Oh, I'm afraid that most of my stories come from prisons. And the lives of prisoners do not make good bedtime stories.
Are there children in prisons?
Yes, I'm sad to say. Many. The children of debtors. There once was a little girl named Penelope. She was 6 or 7 years old. She and all her family, who once been very rich, I think, were all crammed into a space no larger than a horse stall. There she was on that damp, dirty floor, playing with bits of straw and twigs and rags, making them into Kensington Palace. When she saw me standing over her, she said, "Who stands in the presence of the Queen?"
I hope you bowed to her.
Oh, indeed I did. I never wanted to disappoint the Queen, you know. Oh, little Penelope and I played together for the better part of an hour. And though we were very merry, that place with the deepest sense of sadness that someone so young and innocent had to live in a place that was so dirty and dreary.
But you brought her some hope. Just as you brought hope to me. But were you not afraid to go into such places? Were you not afraid that you might get prison fever while you were there?
I know this may be strange to hear, but no, I really wasn't. You see, I don't think courage has so much to do with being strong and defiant. Mad Dog can show that kind of courage. Courage to me is knowing that you are in exactly the place you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
That is very easy to say when you're doing something very noble and grand, but it doesn't help me. Is lying in a bed, suffering from a fever, about to die, what I'm supposed to be doing.
You are doing something good. This is your battlefield. As sure as any other battlefield that was ever fought on by ancient kings, and what you're fighting for is far more important than what most men fight for. We begin by believing that this world is just a shadow and that God has something infinitely better for us beyond all of this. One of the happiest moments I've ever seen was when a prisoner who'd been in a dark and lonely cell for many years was finally released out into the world. Prison doors swung open. He stepped out into the dazzling sun. The expression on his face cannot be described. His wife and his children ran to his side. He took a deep breath of the air of liberty, and he knew that he was finally free at last. A Christian believes that death is like walking out of prison. It's not the end, but the beginning.
When my time comes, I hope someone will be there to go with me.
Think of your winged horse, Katerina. You won't be alone.
Will you stay the night, Mr. Howard? Weather has taken turn for worse.
No, I really must be getting back. I don't think there's any more that I can here. I really do wish that there was something that I could do for her. She really is a remarkable young lady. There's such a sweetness about her spirit.
Da. She has a way of stealing your heart. You sure you won't stay? It will be dark before you get back.
Dark indeed, but no worse than I've seen many times before.
I believe Mr. Howard is doctor of best sort. He has tended to her spirit as well as her body. I would to God that she lived to dance at first ball, have first kiss. And if her candle is to burn out quickly, I pray that God give peace to her soul.